you've already loosened up with some iron shots. Let's work on some driver swings here.
All right.
I want to let you hit a couple just your stock way, and then we'll talk about moving the ball around a little bit. I think one of the big improvements you've made golf swing-wise has really showed up in a driver.
A little more consistent.
Yeah, a lot more consistent.
Some days.
I think one of the things I've noticed since you changed your swing and got yourself in a better position at the top is your consistency of your trajectory is much better.
Yeah, a little better control, able to move it up and down and both directions. Primarily, most times, primarily straight to a cut.
Would you say your bread and butter on your fairway finder is the cut?
Yeah, I would say, unless I get wind off the left, trying to just get a ball in play, it's going to be kind of a squeeze cut out there.
Isn't it funny how wind off the left is every good player's nightmare? We hate the wind off the left because you feel like you got to turn it into it, although if you can, you'll ride it. But when you have to turn it into it, it's no fun. And it's true with everybody.
A lot of times if I have the option, I'll hit 3-wood because I can hold it a little bit better.
That's beautiful ball flight there. You switched balls a couple of years ago, and I remember you saying when you did it, you liked the way you could flight this ball a little better than what you used to use. Would you say that's still the case?
I mean, today's day and age, I feel like there's so many companies that make good golf balls.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And within each, you have your options. So it's really just finding the one that has the characteristics that you're looking for. I like having spin. I like being able to flight it as well. So control, I think that's the biggest thing is having the control.
So you use a ball that's a little more spinning than some guys do.
Yeah, the ball that I use with TaylorMade would be the spinnier of the kind of couple options.
Because of that, do you feel like you get more control with a ball that spins a little more through the air?
Yeah, because I feel like once you start getting a little bit towards the knuckly side, you can the two-way misses are a lot easier to happen.
Let's not talk about a two-way miss. We don't like those. We don't even want to bring that up.
Sometimes those draws don't end up having enough spin on them.
Yeah. I wish I had that problem, but I don't. When you're hitting your stock drive, you're not necessarily a fairway finder and not trying to nuke it, just a stock drive. What do you figure you carry it?
For me, a 290 bunker is no worry. A 300 bunker is where I know I have to
put a little more speed in it. Yeah.
So I think if I really get into one in normal conditions at sea level, I can maybe fly at about 310, but that takes a little effort.
So when you're playing in competition in the heat of the battle, you figure you're swinging what, 85%, 90%?
It's a controlled 100%, but whatever's there, there's always a few more mile an hour that you can squeeze out. So it's not holding a whole lot back, but it's in control.
One of the things I like about the new swing that you've been using is the way you can get full release through the ball. Not only with the club head, but the path of the arms, the sequencing of the arms and body now is really in sync.
You just kind of set up from being in a cleaner, higher position with more room to go ahead and let it go.
And that was what we worked on, to try and get you in a position where you can go. Because, you know, as we talked about in the past, if you're in the wrong position up here, you got to do something wrong to hit a good shot.
Yeah.
When you get in a good position, the rest of this kind of falls into place, and it makes it easier. It doesn't mean you can't hit a bad shot, because
the bad shots are still possible.
They're part of golf, but I'd say in general your driving's been a lot better. Would that be what you'd call a miss? Just a little push fade?
Yeah, that was one that was maybe I squeezed a little too much, but it was not going left. Maybe one that you're aiming up the left side and just trying to take that out of play. It'd probably catch the right side of the fairway.
That's fine. Yeah, that would have not missed the fairway. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, let's hit your stock drive here.
Stock should
First tee where you're not trying to really do much. You're just trying to hit your stock driver here.
Should be pretty straight. Oops.
Well, we got a pretty good wind just came up into us now too, so that's going to multiply any kind of side spin we have on it.
Better.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that.
Slight pull with a little fall right.
And then it works its way back to the right.
Yeah.
I think the other thing what the average golfer doesn't understand when they listen to you guys talk, and I'd say the majority of the tour players will hit predominantly fades, straight to fades off the tee. There are guys that are normal shape, Rory, and some of the other guys that are the draw. Your consistent shape is a ball that really isn't a slice because it doesn't have a big curve into it. It just kind of falls out of the air to the right. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, it's never moving left unless we're really trying to. You know, a good one is pretty straight, and then if anything, they have a little right movement.
Yeah. Let's see one of those.
You wanted the little right movement in it?
Yeah, just let it fall out of the air to the right. That's perfect. What Trevino used to say, you could talk to a fade and the hook won't listen.
At least the cuts will come down softer.
Although I'll say this about your cuts, because of the flight of it, it still gets some run out.
Yeah, depending on course conditions. I mean, we can hit a flatter, straighter one, or see if we can get one working a little left.
Let's take it out of the air a little. Let's bring it. See, we got a pretty good wind into us, so let's take one down a little bit. What would you do different to try and take this down a little?
Good chest and head release. And I feel like that emblem of the glove, or kind of, you talk about the guys that are kind of bowers of the,
right.
I feel like that gets just a little more down.
That actually lets the club just release just a little. I like that. And it takes the ball flight down a little too. Nice little tight draw, lower ball flight. Now, when you hit do you try and hit, occasionally it'll require to try and hit a fade even though we're into the wind?
Yep.
Do you feel that on the end of the wind shots it's easier to draw it? Or do you feel you still have confidence with your little fade even though it's not as high a trajectory?
No, I like being able to work it both ways, and a big thing with that is making sure when you do go to hit the cut, not sliding.
Right.
And then you get that kind of spinny one. So a lot of that is staying behind it, but really turning so you can still release it.
Do you change your setup at all, or is the setup pretty similar? Aim a little square up to the left, or?
I'll aim a little more left just to be able to get that, left to right kind of path through the ball. But a big thing is more just, for me, is thinking cut, not actually trying to wipe it.
What's the line that Tom Cruise had in Top Gun Maverick? Don't think, just do?
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
You've already gone through, you have your start line and what you're trying to do, so it's, just let the cut happen.
Oh, that was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Started just left, fell out of the air to the right with a lower ball flight. You and I worked together off and on, started way back in 13.
Yep.
But we've known each other for quite a while. I really like the way you drive the ball now. I like the fact you've always tried to hit shots even when you were younger, but I think you have more control of the shots. The other thing that I like that you've done is in the past when you were hitting shots, your sight lines were a little wide because the ball was moving more. Now your sight lines are in a little because your ball's not moving as much, which makes it easier to control.
Yeah, I can still move it a lot if needed, but for the most part, it's not trying to do too much. Keep it fairly tight.
Yep, I like it. All right, what do you want to hit here? Let's, even though we're into the wind, let's say we're going to hit a high one to try and get that 300 cover over a bunker.
Let's see.
Obviously, you tee it a little higher.
Yeah, we'll tee it up a little.
I like the way you lean your tee forward a little. I notice you do that. What do you think that helps you with?
It's just always how I've teed it up.
Just always done it that way.
A little forward nudge. Get it headed the right direction.
I love it when I ask you guys questions about why you do this. Is there a reason for it? No, I've just always done it that way. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, a little higher tee. I'll feel like I'll sit behind it a little bit more just to get a little bit more of the, attack angle going up on it.
You do it more with a little more spine tilt, a little more weight, back a little. Okay.
And the higher, I use a short tee to begin with, so
yes,
it's never teed up that high.
You do use it. You use the shortest tee of anybody on the tour.
Yeah.
Most of these guys have got it jacked up like this, and you've got it down where you could control it.
So high for me is probably fairly standard for a lot of people. Big thing, one is not getting too quick, but staying behind it, but then continuing to release it. Once you start getting more up on it, that's going to be a little more right bias.
That seems to have been, it seems like in teaching, we hear kind of a catchphrase through the different years. People start talking about the same thing. We've had ground force, we have trying to hit up on it. I've never liked that for trying to put the ball on fairway. That's great for long drivers that are trying to hit it in a 50-yard grid where they only got 1 out of 10 out of it. You got to get every one of yours in the fairway.
Yep.
So I agree with that. I'm not a big hit up on it. I think we can do like you do, set it up at address with the spine back, put your head a little back, and then you can just go ahead and rip it.
Yeah, because I want to say my normal or where I live on a standard drive kind of attack angle is in the maybe 2 to 3 up.
Yeah.
And the lower ones are going to be closer to 0.
Yeah.
And then, I can get up pretty good, but 4 and 5 is about as much as I want up.
I don't even like to see it that high because that brings in that high floater to the right.
No, that's only like if you wanted it up and going. So sit back and release it.
Wow. How about the difference in the flight of that one and the one you hit before it?
I've never had an issue of hitting it up in the air.
I think the interesting thing that you say about that, because to hit a ball in the air, it has to spin more. And yet you like a ball that spins more. So you would think if you were talking to a normal person, they say they hit it too high, you'd put them in a ball that doesn't spin as much. But that wouldn't work for you because you like the consistency of the spin you get with your ball.
Yeah, I like a ball that's going to spin, but I also like it kind of in a lower launch window. Like I said, I've always been able to launch it up in the air if I need to.
Yep.
I like knowing that it's going to have the flight on it.
All right, let's hit a couple draws. Just a stock trajectory draw. Say, let's visualize a hole. Well, the new tee at Augusta, you don't have to draw it as much because you can just hit it straight out.
Just kind of go that left center of the clubhouse of the bunkers and then try and
I like that.
Work it back off.
I like that.
Because I'd say if anything, the breeze is a little off the left right now. Straight ball.
Let's try to turn. Do that again.
Yep. Yeah, we don't try and hit very many draws.
No.
With driver.
No, I don't blame you. And I like what you said earlier. If you have to really draw it, you're going to hit the 3-wood because with the more loft, it's easier to do it. Ooh, that's a good one there. That's working back to the left and then the wind straightened it out. That was nice.
Yeah, if I need to really turn it, I mean, I can force the issue with driver, but
I don't think it's worth it.
exactly.
I don't think it's because then you bring in the chance of a double cross.
Yep.
I don't think it's worth it. I like what you did right there, just to like, because we've got a wind that's kind of into us at this angle, and so you've actually turned it back into it, and then the wind just straightened it out. I like that.
Just gotta let the club head pass.
Your arms past your body.
I don't have the draw today.
Let's draw, and it's just not much of one. That's all right.
So I stick to straight and cut.
Let's go to a little more of a slider left to right. One you got to kind of just turn around the corner of a dog leg. Oh, that was beautiful. Beautiful. Got all the shots, dude.
Well, like I said, the cut's working today. That's why we stay away from the
Is that
draw.
your plane coming in to pick you up? It's one of those good days, huh? All right, let's end with a good one here. This one we're going to, I'll put you under a little heat here. We got to hit, we got to bunker 300 into the wind, so you got to feel like you carry this 305, 307. What do you do different setup-wise when you really want to go after one?
I just try and be a little more controlled or slightly slower, just to make sure I don't get too quick. Let everything gather and go from there.
I think that's a perfect key for the average person. When they try and hit one hard, they're too fast with a backswing, too slow with a through swing. Nice deliberate backswing, and then you can just let it go.
There, I got you a draw.
There was that hook we were looking for.
I just need to swing harder.
All right, good work. Do me a favor, will you? Loan me a few miles per hour.
Oh, I'm playing against guys that hit it pretty far. I got to keep all I have.
I need help, though. Although I played with you yesterday, you gave me some good tips. I like that.
You'll be all right.
I like the fact that I help you and you help me. That works good.
Two-way street.
That's what I'm talking about.